ठीक है, ठीक है।
अच्छा से मोस्टली रिव्यू क्लास ही है, इसलिए मैं रिव्यू
अच्छा, आप आगे बैठ गए, मैं सोचा आए नहीं अभी देर।
नहीं, मैं आपकी वॉशरूम होगी।
अच्छा, वॉशरूम हो गया आगे।
एकदम एग्जैक्टली 5:11 में आके ही निकले। मैं देखा क्या है,
तैयार किया हुआ है।
हाँ बस ये एक्चुअली हम जो साकेत में पढ़ाते थे ना, क्योंकि काफी सारे केस स्टडी लेके चर्चा करेंगे। मैंने केस स्टडी सोचा था भेज देंगे आपको, लेकिन टाइम नहीं मिला इसको स्कैन करके ना भेजने वाला। बट एक्चुअली ये क्वेश्चन पेपर है, ये ऑप्शन में इसमें आंसर कर सकते हैं। ये 2016 का क्वेश्चन पेपर है, वो नहीं होगा ना। चलो इसे ऐसे ही
कुछ नहीं हो सकता,
इसको ऐसे ही हम बता देंगे थोड़ा बहुत कहानी जो है ना, इस कैसे आंसर देते हैं किस चीज को,
वो बता दीजिए।
तो आज थोड़ा रिवीजन कर देंगे। देखा जाए आज का वीडियो सबसे बेस्ट वीडियो होगा बच्चे लोगों के लिए। सारे क्वेश्चन को मैं डिस्कशन करके आया, नॉर्मली वही करता हूँ लास्ट दिन में। अगर जिन्होंने एक बार ये वीडियो देखेगा ना, तो उनको फायदा हो जाएगा पूरे एग्जाम पेपर से, कैसे तैयारी करना है, किस तरह क्वेश्चन है, कहाँ से पढ़ना है, इधर पूरे हिसाब से मैंने बना लिया, कौन कौन यूनिट का क्या क्या है पूरी जिस्ट। मैं भी थोड़ा इन्वेस्ट कर रहा हूँ, रिसर्च कर रहा हूँ। अच्छा, कैसे बेहतर किया जाए। मैं जो ट्रेडिशनल सिस्टम है उसमें नहीं कर रहा हूँ, ये थोड़ा हट के है। Good morning to everybody. Today, this is MMPC 02 Human Resource Management. Today, I will take the review classes. Basically, the block 1, block 2, block 3, and block 4. What are the units are there? And today, I am trying to give you some of the clips, some of the important areas, definitions, and all block wise. First block 1, then block 2, block 3, block 4. So total, I will give you something important. It's a very important videos today because people will help for the examination purposes and for the preparation purposes also. So let's see. First, I have to go to block 1. What the way actually I try to show you. Here you see first block basically your meaning of HRM or introduction to HRM. So first you have to what is the meaning of the HRM. So that's why you have to learn the definition of the HRM. Then human resources, that definition, from where you are getting the resources. Then some extent your organizations also you have to know what is the organizations where the people are working together. So that is the organizations. What are the policies are involved there? That policy is also important. Then your systems also required. Employee benefits design, how it has designed. Then definitely the HRM objectives. This is the area also you have to learn from the exam point of view, and as a whole you have to know what are the objectives. Then what are the approaches also? There are 2-3 approaches are there. That is the area also important. Assets, basically in these, here actually assets mean that human asset. We are talking about the human asset. Then your job analysis, one of the area, which is in terms required for your job description and job specification. You have to prepare from this. So job analysis is the first things. You have to analyze you have to collect all the information of the data from your existing employees. You have to collect all these things. Then only you can have exercise. How to collect, how to requirement, what are the needs for the recruitment purposes. So you can derive from there. So job description and job specification you have to prepare based on your job analysis. Then the recruitment selection processes and your recruitment is also here. So that type of recruitment, there are a lot of methods in the recruitment process. That also is a very important part. Training and development. One of the area of HRM. This is a part of your HRD, human resource development. Under this, the training and development is coming. There are a lot of procedure there on type of trainings, then retrainings, module of the trainings, course materials, how to prepare the course materials, and need for this. The training needs you can get from your personal life. That's why you see it is all in sequence. What are the given is everything as sequence, for definition, and HR resources, organizations, policies, systems. So everything you see is chronologically one by one steps of this. So everything are sequence wise. So you have to go through this accordingly, which is the way I have tried to explain you. Coming to the personal appraisals. Personal appraisal, there are basically it is a give you your complete database for the particular employees and overall all the levels. Then your compensation. Compensation, their salary, wages, what type of packages, and then your benefits, allowances, everything coming in your compensation packages. It is also very vital as part of the HRM to retain the people, to attract the people. Your compensation package should be very good because then only you can see it is a good company. They are very much focused on the compensation. Because when anybody are applying for the job or something, definitely they have to first catch point. First things they have to say, what are the compensation, what type of salary is there. Then in between, see the what type of reward system is there and succession process, career growth, everything are coming and this thing. Yes, yeah. Organizational changes is also very important because is the dynamic nature. Any organization is dynamic. Present scenario, what you do, what type of your business, and how to it should be profitable, and for your how to survive the things in the market, to make in a position. And another thing, you have to take a competitive advantage. That definitely you have to go for the organizational changes. That have to identify which is the area is needed for changing the organizations. It may be a structural changes. It may be your new project is coming because of that. It may be technological changes. That's why you are going for this. So all these aspects are derived in the your organizational changes. Then your industrial relations, that is very important, because the industrial relations to be good, because your employee and employee relationship should be better enough. Then only you can productivity will be more, and your employee will be happy. They will work more. They will more. This is basically the productivity. Main on this balancing of the organization's practices, because what of the things are there, somehow you have to control it, you have to see the balance, workforce level, every financially, your administratively, every some sort of balance will be there. That is top management responsibility is there, top management and HR also. Where any imbalanced situations are there, some, for example, in the especially in the recruitment process, or when the manpower or labor forces are not there. So there's gap management. So the gap management are very much required. But if required, you have to change the practices also. If it is demand something for to do so for balancing the things, you require some of the modification or amendment. Collective bargaining, because what are the viewpoints, ideas should be collected, all the comments, against everything should be collected. So whatever the things are taking a decision process, there should be a collective bargaining process should be there, so that you can have a better alternatives. You can get a good alternatives. Then your government laws. What are the laws has been enforced by the government? That also time to time. And what type of initiatives are taken by the government? That laws, what the way it is affect your company, then you have to streamline accordingly, and you have to follow these laws also to do the business and to allow the business ethics. Business ethics, you have to do these things, and then only you can say it's a good governance. The company is a good governance company, because you abide by all the rules, corporate laws, and you are all the labor act. Also, you are maintaining all the act, and all together you are just see the benefits of the company, your employees. Then you can have a good idea and have a good. You can say declare as it is a good company. And here actually I have not written the retention policies also to be there is a part of your compensation package. If the training development is good, system process is very good, pay package is good, so definitely people will also be retained. They will continue to work in particular this company. So first block, normally we see all our conceptual idea of the concept are there, definition, concept, and detailing some of your types, what types are there. So they are components. Now coming to block number 2. Block number 2, they are the your evolution of the HRM. So block number 1. Within this, another area of part is the evolution of the HRM. So HRM, how it has developed. So for some sort of interaction here, stages of the development. What are the phases he has come across? Modern concept. What are the modern concept? And growth in India in different phases, what the way it is industrializations, socializations. So what the way it has traditional system was there earlier, ownership type. So that part is also some sort of historical part, evolution part that also driving a particular. Then your objectives of the HRM, you should know what the primary objectives and their personal, functional, organizational, social objectives and other. So all the objectives you have to clear in your mind, and there are at least 3 or 4 objectives you have to prepare these things and to write separately. Scope of the HRM. Within the what are the scope of the but basically the jurisdiction of the HRM. There is a various aspects of this. And the significance of the HRM is also you have to go through these. What are the significance of the and the characteristics? Their personal requirement, marketing, and this part. And what are the significance, basic significance? That part also you have to very important. And everything was different. Last 3-4 series of videos we have already discussed. Now here actually I just try to recap and give some reviews. What you have to focus on particular this area where the question is likely to be coming, and for the knowledge purposes also you have to know nature of HRM, people-centered, inherent plant of the part of the management. There are then nature of the HRM also you have to go through. There are 2-3 type of things are there. Various components of the HRM, that also you have to clear that definition you should know. HR organizations, then your HR planning, HRP, HR planning, then your HR systems, the HRD, human resource development, HR relationships, HRR short, then HRU, utilization, human resource utilizations, then your HR accounting, and finally your HR audit. So all this terminology and their definition, you should know what is the purpose behind it. So these are all a component of the HRM. If you see the HRM in the center core area, out of that, these are all are four different wings. You can see it is some sort of wings or department. You can see within the HRM, these are all are small component as small divisions. You can see. So all these different divisions under the HRM. HRM is the management. HR is the human resources management. After within this structure, these are components. Function of the HRM is the managerial functions, and there are 2 types of functions: basically managerial functions and the operative functions. Within these managerial functions, the planning, organizing, directing, controlling, these all are the part of your managing functions. Operating function, what are the things? There is a procurement of the HR because for recruitment purposes, then develop them after the employee has joined, they have to develop them, and what are the compensation packages. These all are part of your operating functions. Then rules and responsibilities of the HRM. That also what are the trends is going on, what type of design you have to create some of the role and responsibilities, assist them how to do the better job. You have to assist for them. These all are basically the role of responsibilities. Here I can say one of the things, role and responsibilities individually from the HR departmental responsibilities and top management responsibilities. Everything are in there, every level of your designations, every level of people or employees have a separate responsibility and role. So role and responsibility to be defined very clearly in the job description, or when the people will join the company or as an employee, he should know what is the role he has to play in these organizations. So that is the idea and things. Functions of the HR managers. What are the functions of the HR managers? What to do? What type of quality he should have? So this is also another area I should learn more. Emerging aspects of the HRM functions. So now, so far we have talked about the traditional systems, and it should be basically. Now the emerging aspect, because the changes, lot of globalizations, liberalizations, and the environmental changes is also there. And rule in every country, and within the country also, lot of rule and regulations is also changing. So to cope up with things, now it is emerging. It is emerging now, lot of things. So basically, that's why you have to focus on more specific on the strategy. What type of strategy should have your HRM strategy, marketing strategy, and overall organization strategy. Every other strategy, basically the plan, action plan for the future, keeping on view the future foresee. You have to see the forthcoming project or the scenario, business consider scenario. You have to, your strategy should be focused on this. Ethics and HRM is also there because when it's the complex nature, different cultures, different diversities. So you have to fix some of the ethics should be there. You have to be honest, dignity, and you have to be sincere enough, you have to respect that culture, everything are in totality, the ethics are there. You have to give. Then, depending on the workload, depending on the situation, or depending on your type of nature of work, your expertise requirement, so you need to be sure of sometimes some of the work will be outsourcing. So depending on the your nature of job, or if it is a that type of expertise you don't have, so you have to go for it. So outsourcing is one of the aspect of your HR functions. Challenges is what are the challenges that are coming with the HR manager, that also behavioral changes, stresses are there, how to cope up with stress management, you should have last your how to maintain the rule and regulations, maintaining the ethics, everything are the challenges nowadays. Health hazards also another, the hygienic is one of the area, and then behavioral patterns is also changes nowadays. Lot of fluctuation, the mind changing are going on. It may be any reasons. So HR manager are lot of everything are not as a problem. It's all a challenges. He has to face it. He has to do it for the betterment of the department, for the betterment of the organizations. Organizational environment factors that influences that have to identify which are the factors that really influencing the mind, means create a disturbance. Basically, the influence means what the way it is create the problem areas, the organization's area. That factors you have to identify, and basically you have to identify the problems or the factors which are culprits, which are the influence for your work, day-to-day work. So once you have identified the factors, then it will be easy. Just to rectify it at most possible. You have to rectify it, you do it, and you have to point it out the things and take a quick actions. Elements, what are the elements in the strategic management that have to identify it, that area you have to do it, you have to top up the things which are the existing system or practices, how to create more competitive so that you can have a better positions and you can survive for a long time. Theories of strategic, some of the theories are there. That is the area you have to learn. Concept of international HRM, IHR, concept of HRM is also because of the as is the issues are coming because of the globalizations, environmental impact is there, cultural differences also there. Because of this, the area that international HRM are very important, and you have to identify what are the issues, what are the barriers are there, what is the rule and regulations, cultural differences, how to cope up the things. If you want to set up a new organization or new department for the product export businesses, and or you have some collaboration with the other, as a host country you are delivering something, then your team, what type of team you should have, what type of quality they should have, what type of mindset you should have. So everything are to meet the issues of your international HR. So this is one of the area you can say. HR analytics development and significance are there, because if you are not analytics, you are not understanding the problems, you have to not scientific way you have to see it, and you have to identify the area and do it. And some of the standards you have to maintain the global standards. So that's why the HR analytics is one of the area, one of the part is very important. Then your impact of the fourth industrial revolutions of the HRM, that also you have to consider it, because the fourth industrial revolution, specifically the artificial intelligence and your digitals, all are in fourth industrial revolutions. There are so many revolutions we have passed through. Now not only in India and globally, now it is everything are digitalized, and automation is coming up. So for the survival of your organizations, you have to go also. You have to accept the things, and how best you can implement the things. That is also challenges for the outlook things. And that artificial intelligence system, some of the robotic things you can operate remotely, and what are the work, the quality, and your you can see the accuracy. That is you can get it from your artificial intelligence. Lot of innovative works, creative work nowadays is already Then in the HRM also, some of the strategic preparation for the recruiting purposes, a lot of companies or organizations are already adopted this artificial intelligence. Through this, they are recruiting all these things. Because the analytic part where the logarithms are all together, calculations, statistics part is there. Sometimes the human cannot work. So that's it. There's some program, some of the software is required. You can do it very nicely, an accurate figure it will give. So artificial intelligence are slowly adopted by a lot of multinational companies and other companies. They are already start utilizing these things, and a lot of future is also there. As per the survey, it is saying the coming 5 to 10 years, huge demand for the manpower is required in this field. So in the artificial intelligence part and digital as such. So globally, very demanding these things. And how it is related to the HRM, or how to strengthen the HRM, and what the way artificial intelligence can contribute to the HRM. That is the part is to be seen, and we have to follow, we have to see this, how best we can utilize Icon, how best we can implement the artificial intelligence so that we can work in a very comfortable way and with a accuracy. Main thing is accuracy and decision making process. So artificial intelligence can support you. It's basically one of the tools which give you the correct decisions correctly. Now, what is HR planning? Block 2, this is sources of human resource part. The block 2, the review, the first things you have to know the HR planning. Because planning has to be your very comprehensive HR planning should be there, where everything are detailing is there, how much manpower is required, how to proceed, everything are there, and estimation and forecasting should be very clear. It should be very more transparent, and it's just like a mirror. Everything can be reflected very nicely. Then your other things automatically can be performed. You can do it very nicely. If your planning is not correct, you are not identified the thing, estimation is wrong, then definitely during the implementation, it will affect very much, and you cannot go back to the things. That's wastage of time and wastage of money. So you have to be very careful about the planning time. When you are planning everything, planning should be very more and more accuracy. Then you can have a good result. It will not affect in the implementation. Otherwise, all the time you have to modify, rectify, amendment, lot of changes. Is a waste of time, and some frustration will come. Project will be delayed. So planning is very much important. Objectives, needs, and the importance of the HR planning. That's what I'm telling you. You have to clear-cut idea of your objective. What are the objectives? That has to be noted down, and have to clear-cut this. Needs for these things. Importance also. The three aspect, objectives, need, and important. It should be very much clear about in your HR planning. Issues of HR. There is a lot of issues are coming. Workforce, labor. Sometimes they are not getting the proper labor. Skill level is also one of the issues. Not getting the skills, manpower. So and technology, another thing. Adaptation of the technology. You have to maybe a lot of changes are required within the organizations, machineries, and even in the human manpower also has to be accustomed. They should know, they should perform. You can familiar with the new technologies. The structural changes also to be there. And more like the final strategy in respect of your HR. Level of HR planning. There are so many levels are there. Process of HR planning. This is the answer, one of the area. How to what process you are doing. Forecasting. In the planning, in the HR planning, the forecasting is one of the important. And the HR resources, basically how much people are required in a long-term process, maybe after 6 months, 1 year, the new project will come. Before that, you have to plan and you have a forecast for this. Basically, the institution purposes. Next year, this much manpower is required. This is the way you have to plan it. It is already reflected in the things. Supply forecasting is another important. Then gap analysis. Because gap analysis, everywhere the gap is shortages, basically your workforce point of view, or maybe in respect of a technology. So whether the gaps are there, or maybe the department will transfer basically the during the transfer or promotion, lot of work distributions will be a disturbance because the work to distribute it already that once human they are already performing the job. Suddenly you are taking some of the manpower from the other department or maybe through the promotion, vertical promotions already there. So that gap has to be filled up so that work should not be hampered. It should be smoothly can work. So gap analysis is one of the important things. Nowadays, most of the companies are gap analysis are doing by the artificial intelligence through this statistics process. They have calculated when the situation will come. This is all are, I think the software are there. If you have to give some inputs only, if you are the already your given input, what are the things are there. Based on this, it is calculated and your data analysis part will come. So nowadays, you need not to worry about it. Only thing you have to adopt the technology. What is the latest software is available. Now, responsibility for HR plan. What are the responsibility for the HR? That also we have to go through these main problems involved in the process of HRP. So, what are the problems involved in the during the process? That is the area also uh, you have to look at. Then guidelines to improve the effectiveness of HRP process. Concept of job analysis, objectives of the job analysis, importance of the job. You see, there are three things. Concept, this is the definition and all these things. What are the job analysis things? The collection of the data, characteristics of the data, it will be accumulated, it will be acquire some of the things data. Through these various way you can collect it through questionnaire systems, by conversations, but through this, you are collecting all these things data. That is basically one of the concept. Now objectives. What the purpose behind it? That you have to list it out. This is the purpose you are. Importance. Why the job analysis is very important? Because you have to prepare for your duties. Because you have to make a descriptions, or you have to specify also about your things. That is the important part. Aspects of the job analysis, their duties, tools, environment, method of job analysis. So job analysis, this is the area important because from the knowledge point of view, as a HRM, you should have a clear-cut concept or idea of the analysis purposes, and for the exam purposes also. Because this is the area a lot of questions are coming. You can go through this any exam paper, you will get one or two questions from this area, job analysis part, job description, specifications, because it is the real work for the HRM duties. Because recruiting is very important things. Once you are analyzing the thing, it will be correct. Means other way I can say that slogan is there, in quote to quote, that is the right people for the right purpose, for right positions, right people for right jobs. So if we considering this the vision of this, it is your still point that you are keeping as a quotation. So you have to follow these things, then you can reach these things. You can get the right persons. So that's why the analysis, job descriptions, job specification, job design, all are basically the target area. Target is your right persons for the right job. So this is the now recruitment, and then discuss the need, why the recruitment is required, and what are the need for these process of recruitment, sources of recruitment, from the method of recruitment. You have to identify is a campus interview or direct interview or through this written test, or you have to outsourcing the some placement bureau they are supplying. So there are a lot of processes and methods are there that have to see. Purpose of this selection procedure, that also what are the steps in the selection procedure, how many panel will be there, who will be the panelist, who will be the interviewer, everything has to be selections. And what type of questions normally asked, skill wise, level wise, that also has to be listed something. So type of selection test is also there. There are so many types of the aptitude test, physical test, or written test. So that also the type of selection also you have to decide before. The different type of interview, as I So limitation of the interview, because there are some limitations there. You cannot go. Sometimes you will not get the within a short time. You cannot get it the right persons because the time is very short. There are candidates with 300 candidates, but you require only 5 to 10 persons, 10 employees. But so time is also important. So limitation. There are so many limitations are there. Organizational socialization is also important because when your employee are recruited, they are coming in they are newly joined, you have to socialize them because they don't know, they all are new entries. So first there are so many stages are there. First they have to entry in the entry phases, then after that they have to some learning phases, they have to learn things where the things are there, they have to communicate to each other. Slowly they have to, their attitude has to be changed. Maybe what things are in their mindset, it has to be what are the assumptions, what are the expectation there, that has to be streamlined in the when they are joining the company have some certain set of practices, some set of your standards are there which has to be followed. So it will take little bit time for adjustment. So that is another phase. Finally, they have to start. They have to aware the things. Okay, this is my duty. I have to perform these. Others are doing. Then slowly he will be a part of these organizations and he will be part of this family, official, departmental things. So this is the phases are very important of your. Just the part is the organizational socialization. There are so many steps are there. So process of integrations of individual and the organization. These are some of the integration parties there. First, you have to come, join, and the other department viewpoint. Suppose you are in the HRM, you have to be having some close relation with the finance and the marketing, the productions. There are also people are working. They are also your colleagues. So how to integrate them so that your viewpoints, what actually your awareness should be going. So some sort of integration is required. If you need any deviation something, then that has to be reduced. What are the factors are there because this. So integration is very much required. There are so many processes are there that you have to go through this. Then relationship between concept, role or organizational association, that is also, as I told you, that concept you have to clear. Promotion, that is also one of the vital things because promotion without, you cannot stagnation, I cannot put some employees in a particular certain period because then depression will start, it will be create a stress level also there. Productivity, chances of productivity, less productivity. So promotion policies to be very clear and should be keep in the mind so the employee should know, yeah, after a certain time, after if I perform these things, then I definitely I will get these things. That should be clear there in the mind and that implemented also. It doesn't mean that it has not implemented. What is the promise? What is the written in the company guidelines? So then it has to be followed by everybody and the HRM also, the top management also. So then only it will be a very good situation. Demotions. And demotion is also required because some sort of punishment, some sort of disciplinary parties should be there so that other people can learn from them. If the demotion system is not there, then it will be guaranteed. If something is wrong, their attitude is very bad, they are not performing the way, even they is getting the salaries, yes, not demotion is not there. Then indirectly, his or her action will be demotivating to others. Other will be affected. So that's the demotion policy is also to be there. And transfer, what does the transfer means? Basically, transfer people are thinking as a negative way sometimes. They are as a punishment, but it is not a punishment. You have to see that this is the gap analysis. Basically, when you are transferring something, you are giving him opportunity. Basically, you are giving him opportunity to go raise in the other division, other level. So you have to take it, and that awareness has to be given. You have to very clear cut this promotion, but this transfer is basically for uplift you. You have to grow. So that's why this thing is. Don't take it in a negative way. So that type of propagation, that type of philosophy or discussion is needed in your transfer policies. Because before transfer, definitely you have to discuss with the subordinate. Not abruptly you can transfer this. If it's a really policy or really required, must transfer something, identify the thing, skill. Okay. Otherwise, normal, you have to discuss. At least one, have a chance, one opportunity should be given to the employee before sending to some other places. And at least he should avoid, okay, it has discussed with me and I have also agreed, but that's why I'm doing. Otherwise he will search the new job. If you're not happy, then what happened, maybe by virtue of the order he may join, but after 6 months or 1 year he may change the job. He may not be retained in the company due to his personal problem. So if you initially discuss the thing, then in that case you can reduce, you can change the your manpower to other persons. Then it will be very things, because that is the only cost effective. Because you are sending somebody, the allowances, the transportation charges, everything you are bearing, and after that 6 months or 1 year, he is coming back, or maybe he is not performing the well, or maybe he is leaving the organization. Then it is a really cost effective. Again, you have to search new persons to put them. So before the transfer policy, you have to have a idea what you are doing and for what purposes, for whom you are transferring. So all these consideration should be mind. It should be some little bit soft skill is required, because as an HR person, as a manager, you have to have some little bit soft skill how to deal with these things, all these things. It's very sensitive things, sensitive area. Employee separations, retirement things are there, or maybe in between resignations, all these part are in your separation perspective. Now, block three, concept of performance appraisals. That is very important area. That we have to have an idea what the performance appraisal system, what are the steps are there. Then goal of your performance appraisal system, objectives of the performance appraisal system, process of there are everything, every units. Um, you see in the management classes, basically any management classes, there are four things that are very important. First, you have to get the concept, means the definition of whatever that is. Then you see the scope or objectives. What are the objectives? There's the you have to think, then definitely some process will be there. What is the process? Then you can note down the process, and then finally you have to implement the thing. There, any area there are three or four uh, steps are there. So everywhere what he has done. Then controlling boss, he has also done writing something, endorsing things, recommending. Then the review officer, review manager, review officer, he has also write something. Yes, yes, it is everything is okay. So cross checking everywhere, and finally within the then after that they are searching this employee in regards to statistics degree present systems. How what the way he is behaving with the supplier also, vendors, suppliers, what the he's behaving with the customer also last 1 year. If any conflict, any argument is there, any adverse report is there or not with the other external candidates, external people, that part is also to be considered. So when you see the appraisal systems in a 360, that's why it is 360 all angle. There is no loopholes. Everything are considered from the internal side, individual is writing, its controlling is also writing, then your review manager is also writing, plus HR is also see his external connectivity, what the way is behaving is with the social life basically. Even some of the companies also on the worldwide, they are seeing the Facebook also before giving a promotion, the Facebook, Instagram, what the way is पीछे कहाँ से शुरू किया कितना सेकंड वेट कर दिए
छेड़ा तो नहीं आपने?
कुछ नहीं
हाँ, पढ़ाते हो। पढ़ाते हो।
So we are talking about the performance and the compensation management. There, concept of the performance appraisal systems, the goal of the performance appraisals, objectives of the performance appraisals process, and their importance. 360 degree appraisal systems. They are basically you have to take the one part is your employee. Employee has to write written something. Then this controlling boss has to write something. His recommendation is giving based on these assigned jobs. The review officer is also writing something. And apart from this, what the way he is behaving with the customers, what the way he has behaved with the his, supplier, that also to be seen in the externally how best he is. So considering all these things, that the system is there. Counseling is also required because performance counseling because your it is not at par. So we have to discuss with him why he has lagging, why it is not good enough. So that part also you have to see it. Problems of the personal appraisal. What are the problems that also identified and discussed? So overall effectiveness of the you have to see. Potential appraisal is little different from the personal appraisal. Potential appraisal you have to identify the talent where there's some hidden capacity of your employee that has to be identified. Where we perform the things. So every company, most of the partnership company, they have some talent research team. So they are identifying based on the personal appraisal. Again, they have to go and study all these things, and they have to discuss with the particular employee and different. They have to give him some additional jobs, assigned jobs, and they have test it how best he can do it. When they are saying he has performed better, lot of creativity in his mind. So when it is identified, then it is considered as a potential appraisals, and they are putting in a different wing for research or some creative design. So they are putting in other sections where they can perform better. Career development is one of the important aspects there because they should know where will be after 10 years and even still up to retirement where I'll be labor, where I'll be I can reach these positions. That is your planning should be clear and that this is the way you have to develop your employees because what about the thing mind stagnation should not be there or he should also feel happy. Learning process should be always continuous learning process should be there. So some sort of strategy also need to record these things. Now process of the career planning limitation is also there. That is the area you have to learn it. Career planning is also important. Succession planning you should know who will be coming in after that. Some preceding or successions are required. If somebody is transferred, some of the CEO level, any level, the gap should not be there. Immediately it should fill it up by the next hierarchy. So hierarchy, when you had the post should not be very vacant because post is not vacant or particular post is not there. Then that area of work will be suffered, it will be delayed. So that's why always you have to keep in. And up there, you also should know that yes, my backup is there. Sometimes if I take leave or something, somebody is there. Or if I transfer to somewhere, no problem, another person can come and join and he can perform the things. So this is the way you have to plan it. Determining the trainings, what are the training is required, that is one of the area. You have to determine what type of training is required and which level. Method, there are a lot of methods are there in the training program that you have to things. Evaluation of the training, after the training you have to evaluate it what are your objectives, what you want to teach them or train them, really they have trained or not, and now we are ready to launch, ready to post the particular that section, or they are handling this thing nicely individually. And independency is required. Basically, the evaluation you have to see if any needed for further course of training module. If you want to change it, then that feedback you can get it from the evaluation part. So important issues of the training also should know. Compensation management is another part. Reward already have discussed. This is already needed. Fourth block basically the employee empowerment also required for create the productivity is very much required for empowerment, because employee will be empowered when they are capable of the particular thing. Benefits of the employee. What are the benefits that also we have discussed last videos? We have there. What are the benefits of the things? Quality cycle. What are the meaning of the quality cycles? Do it with a jointly, and accuracy is there. Change system. So that is one of the area to be seen. Workers' participation in management are also needed, because until and unless they are not participating, new ideas, you will be losing new ideas, because sometimes in the worker levels also, lower level also, they have a good idea. So they let them participate, and not only the participation, they have to they have to raise their voice. It should be open. And what are they are saying? It should be management should listen. Those who are representative on the both way, everybody should listen their ideas. So then you have a good alternatives. You can get a good idea. So prerequisite of the before that participation, you should have some of the rule and regulations. Some discipline should be required. What to say, how to say. It should be away from the our objectives. So some of the requisitions should be there. Everybody should follow these things. Meaning of grievances. What is the meaning? That you should know. What are the grievances? And the causes of grievance, why the grievances are coming, because maybe due to loss of product, loss of profit. It may be a new technology. It may be a conflict. CEO is not good, or maybe the interpersonal relationship is not good within the intergroup. Fighting is there. So lot of conflict because of these. The grievances are coming. Both the union are not good. Both the union, there are so many trade unions, A, B, C, D, lot of unions. Within the unions, they are fighting each other. So that is the way the grievances are coming, and it will affect your organization product. Organization's performance will be disturbed. So this is the cause you have to identify and solve the things. Various effects of the grievances. Grievances handling procedure should be clear cut. Some standards should be there. What are the way it should be? Discipline and these various types. Trade union and various objectives. What are the trade union? And they are registered or not, and they are really doing a good job for the employees or not. What are the relations between these? Because trade union representative are the interface between the management and the labor class and the employee. So that interface they are working nicely or not. So that the functions are also there. Short note of you should study also the Trade Union Act 1926, where everything are defined in the Trade Union Act. A lot of things are defined. Sometimes the questions are coming in the exam. You should know from the Indian perspective what are the laws there, what are the trade union means, how many trade unions are there, what is the act, and what is the behind, what is the objectives behind it. Everything are details are given in the Trade Union Act. Difference between the blue collar and white collar workers, that is also you have to know it. Blue collar basically those are in the labor class. They are not doing the good hygienic jobs. They are in the very things. So that's why some color based on the color code, you can see the blue color. That's why they make. White collar are in the corporate jobs, in the corporate working. There is the clerical, basically clerical jobs, doing in the AC environment or AC rooms. Clean. There's a white. So this is some of the differences are there. Both are worker in terms of employee. Employee or worker, what is common, but they are considered as a blue collar. Those who are in the lower division, lower level class, and these things, and some sort of identifications are there. Uh, what are the objectives should be there as the employer, what objectives should be there, challenges of the employer organizations. So this all are the respect. This is the way and try to cover up all the blocks. There are 4 blocks. So first block I have already discussed. Second block also I did. First block basically the concept areas. Again, I just try to recap. First block basically your concept area. Then your second block is your job, how to recruit the manpower. And this is your first block basically your concept objectives HRM. Second block basically your how to planning and your forecasting analysis part is there. Job analysis part is all these things. Detailing basically second part. Second block is detailing of these things. Third block again your performance appraisal systems and compensation packages. They are, and fourth block is basically your employee-employee relations. That is the way the MS2 has covered up. So I think, and now I have to discuss some of the pattern of the question. Last time you see the question pattern like this. There is 70% which is there. Those are IGNO system is there basically. There are 2 sections will be there, section A and section B question papers. Section A you have to attempt any 3 questions out of 5. You have to attend these things. Every questions are marked is 20 marks. It's there. So you have to answer it. You see carefully here the answer, how much you have to write. Some the question for section B is important because section B is a case study. They will give you some situation you have to write. Section A are descriptive type. These are subjectives. You have to write around 400 or 500 words. These things. This is the way you have to finish it up. Depending on the numbers. If it is a 20 marks, then definitely you have to write more. And if it is a 10 marks, you have to write 200 words. You have to finish it up. This is the. Don't write too much. Don't write too less because idea is you have to write in a concept area definitions that give you some of the details, and the end of the your answer you should have give you some example and your some of the your conclusion you have to write it. You have to conclude in such a way. You have to give your opinion, some of the recommendation you have to give. Then it will be create a good marks. So you can divide in 3 parts. Suppose you are answering question number 1. Explain the important scope of human resource management. First question is written, then you explain the importance of the and elaborate the relevance of the HRM in the current scenario. So when you are saying the current scenario, or maybe you are explaining as per your organizations, what your organizations are doing. So that is the important part. You have to write something where your creativity, your knowledge are reflected there. That is the first part, the theoretical and definition knowledge you can write. You can now. Second part basically the present scenario. There actually your writing skill are very important. So you have to write in. This is the way. Case study is actually the case study is basically I can say your very important because 40 marks is there normally. So 40 marks in the case study. Case study main thing you have to study as early as quickly because you have to at least 15 to 20 minutes you have to keep for your study purposes. You have to go through these. Then after you write the answer. So there will be 2 or 3 questions you have to answer it after the passage only. What the answer is within the passage only. So don't worry about it. You have to nicely to go through this. Then once you are ensured yes this is the answer, then definitely you can answer it. So best things to how to study the case studies. It's either the case study you have to study it. First you have to see the questions. What the questions is there. Once you have read the questions, then only you can go through the study part. Don't start to reading the case study first. First you see the questions, then you can go through then you can identify what the answer is lying there. You can underline these things for these questions, and you can write in your answer. This is the way you will get a good marks in the case studies. So normally the students are instantly they have to start reading the passage. So it should not. So okay, thank you very much. I think this is the way I have completed things, and I hope I can give you some of the glimpse of the study purpose. Balance you go through this. Okay, thank you to all. Namaste.